I welcome you to the discussion on frequently asked questions, FAQs, on structural equation modeling, part 6. I am Professor Jitesh Thakkar, Dean Academics and Professor Logistics and Supply Chain Management at Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, Central University, Vadodara. I was a faculty at IIT Kharagpur and has a professional experience of more than 25 years. I served as a faculty expert as a leading institutions, IITs, IIMs, NITs, and others. I am listed in top 2% scientists by Stanford University. I am the author of the book Structural Equation Modeling, Applications for Research and Practice with MOs and R. And this book provides step-by-step procedure with applications for conducting structural equation modeling analysis using the softwares like MOs and R. Let us continue in our discussion and evolve greater understanding on structural equation modeling. As a part of this, frequently asked questions on SEM, part 6, let us try to address the first question, why SEM has received significant admiration in research. Yes, structural equation modeling across various domains, engineering, humanities, management, social science, medical science, it has received significant admiration because of its unique capability. This includes, number one, SEM examines whether the proposed model produces a population covariance matrix that is consistent with the sample size or sample covariance matrix or not. SEM can help to answer many questions when we are trying to test a priori model with set of linear and causal relationship. Number two, SEM draws the attention of a researcher on whether the proposed theoretical model is adequate or not using goodness of fit indices, and the method can also be used to compare multiple theoretical models derived for explaining a particular phenomenon. Number three, SEM enables researchers to understand the amount of variance in the dependent variables. Both manifest and latent variables are counted for the estimation of independent variables. SEM can also be used to investigate the group differences, and researcher can derive a separate SEM model for different groups and compare the results. So broadly, SEM really stands because of its capability in terms of sample covariance matrix, comparing alternative theoretical frameworks, and quantifying the explained variable in a single analysis that really underscores its comprehensive power. Question 2. What are common challenges in implementing SEM, specifically in the Indian research context? Let's look at it. Data requirements. SEM typically requires large sample sizes, which can be challenging in many situations to obtain. Number two, assumption violations. Data may not always meet the assumptions of normality or linearity. Third, model identification, ensuring that the model is properly identified, unique solutions for the parameters exist is another challenge. Model specifications, correctly theorizing and specifying the relationship can be complex. Software proficiency, yes, SEM, because it investigates simultaneously number of regressions, conducts the factor analysis, and it's not possible to do it manually, and a good proficiency with MO, Smart, PLS, R, this software is desired. Cultural nuances, so there could be response bias. For example, there can be social desirability or acquiescence bias, and This leads to difficulty in assessing certain populations, and the need for culturally adapted skills can be a specific challenge. In Indian context, if we just look at, then a researcher studying consumer behavior in rural India might struggle with data collection due to lower literacy rates, leading to reliance on interviews. And this certainly induces the potential bias in obtaining the responses. Additionally, adapting Western developed skills for an Indian context often requires rigorous pilot testing. So, broadly, the SCM is a highly admirable technique with set of challenges in terms of large sample size, cultural response bias, acquiring proficiency in the software, and so on. Question 3. What are the critical considerations and best practices when applying SCM in research? I would say number one is the transparency. Clearly report all steps, including model specifications, modifications, and justifications to ensure that over a period of time, whatever analysis you are conducting using SCM is synchronized and all the transparency is ensured. Theoretical grounding is the second important in the list. Ensure models are strongly grounded in theory. Avoid purely data-driven model modifications. Third is the sample size. So I repeatedly mentioned that use an adequate sample size to ensure the stability of the parameter estimations and your statistical power. Reporting all indices, report a range of fit indices, not just those that shows good fit. You accept good fit indices as well as the badly fitting indices to really understand your SCM analysis. Avoid overfitting. This is very important. Be cautious with excessive post-hoc modifications, which can lead to model overfitting the current data, but do not generalize. It means you will have good fit indices fitting well within the range. Your model is overfitted, but you cannot generalize beyond a point your SCM results. Data integrity is another important issue. Ensure data quality, confidentiality, and participant privacy. The last but most important is cultural sensitivity. When conducting research using SCM for the diverse context like India, ensure instruments are culturally appropriate and interpretations are nuanced. So whether it is the rural, urban, or maybe the south versus north or east, you have altogether different cultural sensitivity. So just if you look at the example in Indian context, then a study on mental health stigma in India using SCM should ensure anonymity and confidentiality of participants, obtain informed consent, and carefully consider the cultural context of mental health perceptions when developing and interpreting the model to avoid misinterpretation or harm. So it's very important that they should also be transparent about any model adjustment made. So there are certain ethical considerations and the important points I emphasized. Ensuring transparency in model specification, grounding, analysis in solid theoretical foundation, and preserving participants' confidentiality are highly imperative. So with this, let us conclude on part 6 that we have reviewed SCM's core advantage, anticipated practical hurdles, and reaffirmed the ethical principles that guide our work Thank you for your interest in understanding and appreciating the critical concepts in structural equation modeling. And I'm sure that this series of videos, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part up to part 6, would have really helped you to understand the critical issues in conducting structural equation modeling.